Alright, so in this lesson we're going to just look at a sales order and how a sales order relates to an invoice to get some orientation of these logistics documents, so that when you do create invoices related to sales orders, that you have an idea where the data is coming from and how the accounting decisions are being made. So the transaction code is VA03, display sales order, and we're just going to look at an existing sales order and navigate around some of the accounting and invoice relevant fields on the sales order and in the document flow to give you some perspective. So here's some of the metadata associated, but let's jump into the detail. So what we're going to do now is to display a sales order. So we need to go into the logistics menu, not accounting, and then go to sales and distribution. And over here, this is where we'll then find sales, and we'll find our order menu, and this is where you can then display the sales order or VA03. So once we click on that, we need to enter an order number or search for an order. So here I'll use an existing order that we have in the system. And when the screen pops up, you first have got a header overview and letting us know that there are some subsequent documents, which I'll explain later. So here we've got the sold to party, we've got the customer purchase order reference number, we've got the material that's being billed, we've got the quantity of the material and a description of the material. And here we have different sections. We've got the header detail, and we've also then here got the item details. So we're going to first explore the header details and show you some relevant fields for the header of the sales order. So in the header, we've got things like what is the sales order types. In this case, it's called OR standard order, the sales area, distribution channel, and division. These are three key fields in the sales and distribution module that can be useful for reporting. Here's our document currency in US dollar. Here's who created the order. And just a lot of good information just about the general area of the sales order. If we look at the accounting view, one of the key fields here, this account assignment group, this determines the general ledger account for revenue. Here we've got domestic, foreign, and affiliate or intercompany. So in this case, this is domestic revenue. So it's quite an important field. And this is the company code that's going to get billed, 1710, when this goes through. So you can also have this concept of different header conditions. And these are sales conditions that apply to all of the items in the order. Here we don't have any item-specific conditions, but we can see the main pricing condition and tax of the order all up. And we'll see the same details on the line item. And so for the next area, I think let's jump to the status tab and just have a look at the status of the order overall. Look at the status. This order is completed. Nothing has been rejected. And if we have a look further down here, we can see that it's been fully invoiced and everything is complete on this order. So that's just sometimes a good reference point. So if we go back now, let's have a look at a line item. So remember, you can have multiple line items on the sales order. Let's pick one of them and go into the item details. So here you see more detail of the material, the quantity, etc. And we can actually go and then look at the billing document detail. And here we can see the payer. So we had a sold to party on the first screen, and now we know the payer is the same. Here we've got the Incoterms, we've got payment terms, and we can see the date at which the billing is valid for this order. And here's a tax classification as well that is useful to be able to follow up with. But mainly the payer and its details. If we click on the conditions here, this is a much more detailed pricing screen for how the price is made up. You'll see we've got a per unit and then a total price for the quantity, so 120 price per unit. And here we can see the tax was at 4% to get the value, so there's a lot more detailed information about the pricing. In fact, if you display an individual pricing record, which we'll do here, you'll see that price of 120 gets derived from a combination of the sales org, the distribution channel, and the material, leaving us 120 per hour. So this is just some background for you to click around and understand how these prices or these values are actually getting into the order from the pricing condition record. If we look at the account assignment tab, you'll see this is where our profit center is coming from, and our profitability segment here again is also derived in the sales order, where we'll get information like the customer, the product, the company code, the plant, sales org. All this information is derived automatically when something is posted from a logistics document. This is the main advantage over a manual invoice, is that you get a lot more rich data because of the sales document. And again, each item also has its status, whether it's complete or not, because again, if you have multiple line items, they could have different statuses. So now let's have a look at this document flow. If we have subsequent documents, if you click on the document flow, then you'll see a flow of what's happening with this order. So this order number 44 has had some preceding orders that it's been referenced or copied from. This is the one for 66 hours and it is complete. And here we have the billing documents complete, but the invoice is still open for cash receipt. That's why it says not clear. But the main concept is there's 3 different documents here. So let's have a look at this billing document, which you haven't seen before. So this is the billing document from the sales order. And if we look at this, has also got a header and it's also got line items, and this carries the information inherited from the order. So let's look at the item details here as an example, just so you can see that the billing quantity, other information in this order. If I scroll around here, you'll see this is the same information that you were seeing in the sales order gets copied to the billing document, and the billing document is then the invoice for the customer and is the basis for the accounting posting. So when you scroll down here, you'll see lots of rich information here. We've got the country, tax jurisdiction code, the tax classification of the material, i.e. if it's a good or a service, the region, etc., account assignment. So all of this detail gets copied from the sales order to the billing document. And same with the pricing conditions. If you look at the header as well, you'll see a lot of similar information as we saw before from the header of the sales order. And here you can see the account assignment again, and also has the posting been successful, posting status is successful. If there was an error, you would see that here as well. So just remember that there's a sales order, there's a billing document, which is what we're looking at now, and then there's the accounting ledger entry. And here we have another bit of information. Tax classification of the customer is also useful. So just to give you some data points or things to look out for. So if we click back now, we go back to the document flow, you'll then see the actual accounting document. So if we display this document, this is the actual general ledger entry. So here you'll see the actual debits and credits. So debit to the customer, credit to revenue, credit to tax based on that tax condition. So the preceding documents drive what's in the journal. So we'll just click back to that. So just remember again, we've got the order, we've got the billing document, and then the actual accounting journal entry to accounts receivable. But it's important to remember that relationship. Again, the billing document is the main driver. And if you go to the billing document as well, and there's also a thing here, you can look at how the revenue accounts were determined. You'll also see that that GL account for revenue is actually a combination of this customer and a customer group and account key combination. And you'll see here that the general ledger account was determined because of this sales organization, this account assignment group domestic, and this account key. So these are just useful little tips and tricks to pick up, that if you want to know how does an account get derived, this is how you can find out that information from the billing document itself. So we're just going back to the document flow now, go back to the order, click back again, and you can then go back to the main menu. So that's how to navigate your sales order and get some good orientation as to the key features that you should be looking for in a sales order. So as an overview, remember you've got a document flow where you can look at the subsequent documents. In our example, there wasn't a delivery before the billing, but remember after the order you often have deliveries, billing, invoice, and the invoice is what generates the accounting document itself. On the header tabs, these are the ones we navigated to look out for. Mainly pricing conditions are the most important ones in the status, and under the item detail again, conditions and account assignment is important there, and in the billing document as well, tax classification of the customer and the material helps drive the detail. And remember, most of the details on the billing document are copied from the sales order and related documents.